This particular video was sent to me from Granny's Crime Busters. Not Granny's Watching, but Granny's Crime Busters. And it is about what we have now been seeing regarding new developments in the case of Jack and Lilly.
Sure you guys can see it all right. Yeah. And there was an update today. The Nova Scotia RCMP's intensive approach to the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan continues. Before I really read the rest, I do want to just say I really appreciate the fact that the RCMP gives out updates, right? I really do, because we don't see that in Sebastian's case, do we? We just don't. And I really appreciate that, even though they're putting it on there.
And I'm happy you keep the Sebastian case going. As am I. And I have a couple more videos. But this is now also, actually, this is my priority at a specific time, because we, I think, are going to see some results. And this case of Jack and Lilly Sullivan, I believe, is going to be a great training tool, because rather than having us getting lost in a specific case, as has been happening in the case of Sebastian Rogers, I think we are about to see some major developments, and that will help us analyze and compare our analyses with what is going to be revealed, hopefully soon.
On their Facebook page. I don't care. I'll go to their Facebook page, you know. I'll even subscribe, right? I'll follow whatever I got to do to make sure that I get the updates. They're giving out updates. I want to know about them, you know. More than 11 Nova Scotia RCMP units are working on the missing persons investigation, some of which include the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit, Pictou County District RCMP, Digital Forensic Services, Truth Verification Section. That's interesting.
I love that term also, truth verification section. Oh my God, talking about, how do I say this in a positive way? Because it's, let me say, it's like positive propaganda, right? Lie detection, deception detection, that's really what it is. But I love how they keep it positive, and they talk about, this is just like, of course we believe you, of course you're telling the truth, but we just want to verify it to make sure that everybody knows, that you are the truthful person that you claim to be. I love this term, man, and it's so okay. I'm a truth verifier, and I'm dead serious. If I get more and more people saying, "Oh my God, you're too harsh on these people. Why do you have it out for Daniel?" No, 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 no. I approach every single statement as if the person is going to tell me the truth. I assume that the person that I am going to analyze is truthful with me. And I allow them to talk me out of it, if that's what they do. And has Daniel Martel ever done that? Oh my gosh, Daniel Martel has been talking me out of it from the very beginning. And so has Malaya. And of course, I'm not yet at the point where I'm going to be 100% about what we are dealing with. Who had what role in the disappearance? Which one of them had which role? Of course, I have mentioned before, he feels the need to mention that she never did anything, and the children kept going wild with her. Why would you talk about the children going wild? And why did she talk about they will talk your ear off? Whenever you talk negative about a missing child, you are telling us why, in your opinion, the children wound up going missing. It's the same with Orson and Orrin West's adoptive father. He called them rambunctious. Something happened because, from his point of view, they were rambunctious. So he felt the need to discipline them, and they passed away, right? I haven't followed the case too much. Peter Hyatt used to analyze it. It was dead on, but I know this adoptive father and I think his wife is also, they are both in prison, I believe, for the murder. I don't remember I don't remember any of the details, but it was very obvious from the beginning that they were involved in their disappearance. And Chris Proudfoot referred to Sebastian as rambunctious as well. So all of the negative things that Chris and Katie Proudfoot have been telling us about Sebastian Rogers show me that this is, from their point of view, the reason that Sebastian is no longer around. It's victim blaming people. These two children, they talked your ear off and they were wired. They were wired that particular night because he told us Malaya, she was just on the phone. Lilly kept coming into the room. Jack was out. Also, something that I've spoken about and will speak more about, I'm sure, as the weeks go by. So the fact that they were wired with her, but well behaved with him, leads me to the question, what did you do to control the children? And why is CPS not allowing you to see your daughter Meadow unsupervised? Why haven't you seen your other two children?
Right? That's really interesting. I like that.
So maybe I will call myself Truth Verifier. Maybe that'll be... Nah, I think my name is all right. I think I just go with my name. You know. Why change it now, people?
Kind of like statement analysis, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Legal application support team, police dog services, underwater recovery team, behavioral sciences group, and the criminal analysis service. They are joined in their investigational efforts by the National Center.
So they will all work together now hand in hand, and I hope they got the right statement analysts and forensic linguists over there, and that they will, behind closed doors, build a very powerful team. And mind you, I've read about this before, of course, any interview starting May 2nd. So that includes the 4-hour deposition or interrogation, the 4-hour interrogation of Daniel Martel. And would I ever love to get my hands on the transcript for that interrogation. I would probably have 5 hours worth the videos. But we have to go by what he's telling the media, which is all right. He already told us enough. And when it comes to the polygraph examination, yeah, I've talked about this already.
Center of Missing Persons, Canadian Center for Child Protection, and provincial and municipal police agencies from Nova Scotia and other parts of Canada. The investigation is being led by a tenacious committee. I
love it so much more when somebody else reads it rather than me doing it and then analyzing it. So, Granny's Crime Busters.
Group of investigators who are gathering and assessing information daily to learn more about the circumstances of Lilly and Jack's disappearance so we can find them, says Senior Sergeant Rob McCammon, officer in charge, acting Major Crime and Behavioral Sciences. All scenarios are being considered, and we've engaged every tool and resource at our disposal. The Nova Scotia RCMP would like to thank the public for all of the tips, information, and video footage that has been provided since Lilly and Jack went missing.
But I want to see some footage of the highways from that night. And I'm talking about the night from Thursday to Friday, of course. anywhere in Nova Scotia, really. Anywhere towards any coast where there are high tides. And I was told the tide where was the high, 6:38 or something like that a.m. Well, it doesn't mean that they went, well, disregard what I just said.
With this support, investigators have collected hundreds of hours of video from the areas surrounding Lansdowne Station, including footage taken from along Gerlach Road between 12 p.m. on April 28th and 12 p.m. on May 2nd. Interesting. Which was the subject of a public appeal from the investigative team.
Wait, let me see. Where does see? Between 12. Yeah, we know about that. That part has been done.
On May 28th. Hundreds of hours, guys. Remember they were asking for dash cam? They've collected hundreds of hours of dash cam footage. That's incredible. Formally interviewed 54 people, which has included the administration of Polygraph to some of the individuals interviewed.
Huh.
Interesting. They're not saying who, but they are saying they did. Received 488 tips, many of which have been assessed and followed up on. Extensively searched the property from which the children went missing, including every aspect of the home, grounds, outbuildings, and nearby septic systems, wells, mine shafts, and culverts.
So they are covering themselves in terms of we have exhausted these possibilities and now we have the right to go full speed ahead and go after what we really want to go after. And I've said it before, whenever I analyze politicians or spokespersons or even law enforcement officials when they speak publicly, there are many times that I detect deception, many times. But that's part of the nature, man. They want to, in this case, particularly in criminal cases or potentially criminal cases, they don't want to tell you what they know. So they kind of lead you down a different road because first, they say we have to do all this and do all that and kind of pretend we don't have any suspicions because we don't have enough evidence and we're still collecting it. So, yeah, in this case, and I held my tongue here because a lot of the statements from the officials, yeah, I was like, I don't, well, let's not go there. You know what I mean? Because I know what they're doing. And they are not going to tell the public or Daniel what exactly they think. They rather have him think, you're doing good, bro. So the same with the lie detector test, with the polygraph. I'm sorry. But you see, the polygraph examination, I think, was, they didn't tell him, they probably told him, yeah, you're done all right. Just get the hell out of here. And he said, I have results. She asked, did they get you results? I have results. Not that they gave me results. There's a big difference here. Do I need to revisit this? Well, I will make a longer video about this. And I will get more into detail there. But from what I recall, and these small parts are extremely important. Did they get you results? Yes, I have results. Very important difference here between getting results and having them. He takes ownership, but he didn't actually say, now I want to look this up. Oh my God.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations.
The Truth Verification Unit is engaged. There's multiple facets to those investigations, and those experts are examining every question and answer that those individuals are providing, and it could guide the investigation.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
Did you get results from that yet? In other words, has police actually given you results from that?
I do have results.
That's a difference. That's different from saying, they gave me results. It's a very different, this is very, very different. He is taking ownership of the results. I have them, but the question was, did you get them? So I am actually nitpickingly interested in who gave you these results.
And I don't know if I can share those results.
See, he doesn't say, he says he doesn't know if he can share these results. Did you ask him? Did they say anything to you?
But they were good in my favor, we'll say that.
Yes.
Todd, Lilly Sullivan and her younger brother Jack were last seen in May, and since then, investigators say they've chased down every lead. RCMP confirmed they've spoken with 54 people, conducted polygraph tests, and have received close to 500 tips. But yet, there's still no sign of the siblings. Jack and Lily's stepfather says he was the first to volunteer for a polygraph, hopeful it would help the search and ease public speculation.
I know it would be a big help in the case and kind of narrow down maybe some of the speculations. And
No, dude. No. You don't want to narrow down speculations. You want to narrow down suspects, of which you are one. You want to narrow down speculations to a minimum, because speculations are thoughts outside of the box. You want to stick with what the police has been doing so far, but they've only done that because they had to do this. You are worried about speculations because they may hit too close to home. That's not why they are. They want to they want to detect deception. What dream world are you in, Daniel? Or hope world?
and just provide more evidence.
That's not. Polygraph examinations don't. Well, by process of elimination, right? They can lead us towards evidence, towards the path where evidence may wind up being found, rather than your deceptive statements.
Daniel Martel says during the polygraph test, he was asked several things, including whether or not he was involved in the disappearance of the children. He says both his cell phone and that of his
And the answer was, I 100% didn't. When asked, did you have anything to do with it? I 100%. This is not a reliable denial. He admits to having part of the responsibility. He's telling us he didn't do it alone. He alone is not responsible. He's not 100% responsible. And that is his conviction. He believes there's shared responsibility when it comes to what had happened.
estranged wife were confiscated and searched by investigators. This and weeks of interviews, there still hasn't been a major break in the case. And for their stepfather, the silence inside the once busy home is deafening.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean.
Just me. Me. What did you do for Malaya to not even want to reach out to you whatsoever? And the CPS saying you cannot see your daughter unless it's supervised. What did you do? And what did you do? What part did you play in the 7-2 part? The -2 being Jack and Lilly, that they are not with you.
I have nothing but time to just think.
RCMP insists this is still very much an active investigation.
And his thoughts, what are they about? How to portray himself in a certain manner. He wants to portray himself so he doesn't get seen as a suspect.
They're reviewing surveillance footage and following digital evidence, but the emotional toll has already left its mark on Martel, including the loss of custody of his daughter Meadow.
I haven't even got to see my own kids. Not even Meadow yet.
His own kids. You see, there's a differentiation here. He's now looking at his kids as his own kids, so he's no longer including. And he says, even seeing his own kids. Not even. What does that tell us? With that, he's telling us that Lilly and Jack are far less important. I haven't even seen my own kids, so I cannot worry about Lilly and Jack right now. These are my own kids, not even Meadow yet. Not telling us why he cannot. He's avoiding that. Remember, PLAIDS, PLAIDS. Priorities, leakage, avoidances, intention, deception, and sensitivities. He's avoiding Jack and Lilly. And his attention is to look good, to look innocent. His children are the priority. Lilly and Jack, not whatsoever, at all. He throws them in there, here and there, because he knows he wants to look like a caring person, right? A caring stepfather. Gets very important for him, by the way, extremely important. He needs to be seen as a caring stepfather, but when it comes down to it, he uses the language, even got to see my own kids, not even Meadow yet. This is his priority, his children, his own children. So Lilly and Jack, they are Malaya's children. And he told us that she didn't pay attention to them. Logan doubled down on that. It was only Meadow. And he told us they were very wired with her. And this reminds me of Katie Proudfoot talking about how overstimulated Sebastian gets and how much sugar he had to eat that particular day. And I believe that is her making an excuse for having over-medicated him with sleep aid. He is telling you, he is giving you justifications why he did whatever he did and why he wants people to believe and himself to believe that he had to do whatever it was. That the next thing we knew, the room was quiet. The next thing I knew, the room was quiet. What happened in that room? It didn't happen outside. The kids never left that house. Lilly and Jack never left that house on their own. Never. It was, somebody said 3 Celsius, I think, maybe a little bit more after 8, but that's like 40 Fahrenheit or less. And they left without their coats. And then the mother, Belinda, asked Malaya in the text messages, did they have their coats on? No, they didn't. He said, oh my God, they must be so cold. You see, Belinda, she didn't know what happened. She's assuming they must be alive. She's clinging on to hope. She says, no. Oh my God, they must be so cold. Neither Daniel or her are concerned with the well-being of Lily and Jack. Because if they're not in the woods, somebody must have taken them, right? And they could be alive, except you know what happened, and it happened inside of the house. They were not taken by strangers.
But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
The children's stepfather says he's grateful.
So this has just been sent to me, and it was said that I missed this, or that they that was on the original. It's a crime shame video that they have removed, and I haven't verified it yet, and I haven't had time to do an analysis, a specific one. So I will read this with you guys. That supposedly yeah, okay. I ran through streams up to my waist many times. I could have slipped on a wet rock, hit my head and died, or fall on a stick or branch and get impaled and die. I did it for the kids, and the world will never see that. I don't know. There are no spelling mistakes in this one. I ran through streams up to my waist many times. I could have slipped on a wet rock, hit my head and died, or fall on a stick or branch and get impaled and die. I did it for the kids, and the world will never see that. No, 160 during the day, 10 darks. Homicide detectives came right and told me, we know you have nothing to do with it. I was the one that said, here's my phone and lie detector test, let's do it. I brought that up. I asked for that. The world knows I have nothing to do with it right now. I'm fighting to bring them home. Yeah, it could have been from him, right? So please help me and verify if you know or have seen it before on the channel. So yes, that would be huge, right?
To Pictou County now, where the stepfather of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, the missing siblings, is speaking out about the RCMP's release yesterday.
So here is, you don't do polygraph tests and waste that resource on people that maybe just saw something or heard something or is a real remote suspect. That's not the way it works. I agree. If they are doing polygraph tests and examinations on people, those are people they suspect might be involved in some way or for whatever reason aren't being honest. But back to this, the media is not given full story. Let's assume for a minute this is correct and from him. I ran through streams up to my... Now this would be a double down on everything that he did and how he risked his life for the children. And the world will never see that. The world will never see that. Nothing to do with Jack and Lily. He was asked, is it possible that they could have missed something? I have a hard time with that. 160 searchers plus yourself, 6 days initially. Do you think it's even possible that they could have missed something? He doesn't answer that. He tells you what he did, only what he did. One person, he ran through streams up to his waist many times. He could have slipped on a wet rock, hit his head and died, or fall on a stick or branch and get impaled and die. That's some really... You have a wild imagination, dude. Very wild imagination here. Why don't you start imagining where else Jack and Lily could be? Oh, why don't you start speculating? I forgot. I did it for the kids. Yeah, right. And the world will never see that. What are their names? For the reputation, for your reputation. So even your own children will not see you in a bad light and will not have a hard time in the future. Their kids. You see, if you have 3 children of your own and then there are 2 others, I think it's important that you mention the names. Homicide detectives came right out and told me, we know you have nothing to do with it. With what? I was the one that said, here's my phone. I thought that up. Oh my God, they would have to do RCMP interviews, and so hopefully they're on top of that angle too. I brought that up. I asked for it. This is all about him. Only about him. How he's being viewed. If you did it only for the kids, who cares what the world is seeing? Why is that so extremely important to you? You haven't found them, so it's not worth looking at. So here are a couple more things that he said. It's kind of mind-boggling that there's not been any evidence at all. This is the same, like Chris Proudfoot almost said the same thing, right? It's mind-boggling. No evidence whatsoever. Mind-boggling. Like, he's trying to tell you that there's no way you're going to solve the case. Stop speculating. I'm out of my, I'm at my wit's end here, man. He's trying to discourage people from thinking up or thinking about the alternatives, from everything that leads back to him. Dude, there's nothing mind-boggling about this case. Looking at your statements, I appreciate every tip, but it kind of leaves a lot of room for the imagination of what really went on. He knows exactly what went on. And he doesn't want what he calls imagination to go there. What he is telling you, he appreciates most tips, just like Chris Proudfoot. He's not worried about the tips. Well, Chris Proudfoot isn't worried about any tips except anything that has to do with his family. And he is appreciates every tip, but means disregard the stuff. This is crap that I just said. No. This is complete crap. Sorry. But so now he is qualifying the tips. It kind of leaves room. Again, room. You mean the room that suddenly went silent, or the room out in the ocean? How much room there is? But I can't see. Experiential memory always slips in. But it kind of leaves a lot of room for the imagination of what really went on. He's telling you that people are imagining, or rather concluding or suspecting what he is telling us is the truth. People are getting too close to the truth. Some of these tips, they hit hard. They are too close to home and he doesn't like them. So he doesn't appreciate every tip. So please don't speculate. Don't think outside of the box. More than anything, do not look at us. This is his fear right now. That people start to recognize or get too close to what really went on. This is a powerful statement right here. I just want everybody to focus outward. Look out there. Don't look at us. Don't look at me. Don't look at my trailer. Don't look at the house or my property. Look out there. And yes, outward, I mean, if the bodies are in the ocean, of course, but he wants you to look out there, outward. The kids are the main priority and that'll never change. What? What the hell are you talking about? This is the same like Malaya saying last night was one of the worst nights. And she's talking about the night from Friday to Saturday. The night from the 2nd to the 3rd, after the kids were reported missing first. And that tells me it was only one of the worst nights. The worst night was the night before that, the night from Thursday to Friday. And he's saying the kids are the main priority. They are the only priority. Daniel, I'll give you a piece of paper and you write down the main priorities. Let's have the lying number 3. And then see what percentage of words are for 1, 2, and 3 respectively. I bet you the first line he will put down Jack and Lilly, because his mind will kick in. He'll be like, okay, I gotta do that, right? But it would be probably so short. Find Jack and Lilly, something like that. And I bet you number 2 and number 3 combined will have over 90% of the words, because the priority is keep people from speculating, don't have hate against anybody, and blah, 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 blah. So the percentage game is very important when we look at priorities here. If somebody brings a percentage in or brings something in and then moves on to the big parts, like she was asked by Belinda. Belinda asked Malaya, oh, they had no coats on. No, okay, oh my God, they must be so cold. Malaya didn't reply to that. She avoided it. There is avoidance here. And then she says, I just want them. And the ladies at the Crime and Shame said, well, maybe there must be some missing. No, duh. There's nothing missing. It's called avoidance. And she is not that bright, Mrs. Malaya.